the validation templates. They're very important. I always find them by Googling EPA TTN for Technology Transfer Network. I click on that, and then I drill down to AMTIC, Air Quality Monitoring, which is a great website with lots of information. Then I go to Quality Assurance. I go to Quality Assurance Guidance Documents. And this page has the QA Handbook for Air Pollution Measurement Systems. Don't go to the 1994 one, go to the May 2013 one. This is what's called the Red Book, or used to be called the Red Book, QA Handbook Volume 2, and the validation templates are here, and also a tracking table that shows how they've changed over time. Now, these validation templates are really valuable because they provide you with, first of all, what the criteria are if you're measuring to compare your results against the National Ambient Air Quality Standards. What do you have to do in terms of quality assurance? That's described in CFR, but it's much more easily understood what you're supposed to do if you look at these. You can see a lot more detail, and it makes a lot more sense than what you can read in CFR. There are 3 types of criteria. They include the critical criteria, which, for example, for ozone only include 2, that the 1-point QC check, done at least once every 2 weeks, and the zero span check meets these requirements for that particular record to be valid. Then there are the operational criteria, which are those criteria that, if you fail, might mean that you have a problem somewhere with your equipment or with your system in terms of your shelter. And then the 3rd category are the systematic criteria, and if the systematic criteria are not met, that means that perhaps that whole data set is not valid for comparing against the NAAQS, but individual records or portions of the data may be valid. The description of what these categories are, it comes at the beginning of this. Also very valuable is there are instrument-specific criteria. For example, for PM 2.5, continuous methods, you can see that there are specific criteria that are for a TOM, for example, and these are based upon comments of the QA work group, which is a national work group, and everybody is invited to participate, that continuously updates these validation templates. So it's very important that you know where to find them online. What's also great is that if you want to read the CFR, the references for what this means, you can, and the guidance is more specific than what you'll find in CFR. There are also links to other documents, and we can't emphasize enough the importance of understanding how you fit in terms of your QA activities to this table for whatever parameter you're measuring. If you're monitoring for informational purposes and you don't intend your data to be compared against the NAAQS, it's still a good idea to know where you fit and which requirements you're meeting and which requirements you're not. Just to have a basic idea so that you know that you have data that is useful for your purposes, whatever those purposes are. So again, these are validation templates and they're accessible. I just always Google EPA TTN AMTIC, and then I go to AMTIC Home, and then you go to Quality Assurance, and then there's Quality Assurance Guidance Documents, and the AMTIC version of the criteria pollutant data validation templates here, as well as the tracking table. Also here are some very valuable movies that are very useful, as well as the QA Handbook for Precipitation Measurement Systems and the Meteorological QA Handbook, which has a lot of great information.